The Golden Diamond Source has been in business for nearly 4 decades and is one of the largest family-owned jewelry stores in America.
We have the largest selection of white and fancy colored diamonds and gemstones you'll find anywhere.
We also have private areas for VIP viewings.
Only at the Golden Diamond Source.
Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited. We are on the record.
Hi everyone, I'm Serena Fazan. Thank you so much for joining us. My absolute favorite series, Dating in America and Love in America. And today, these two lovelies, how adorable. Hey, Emily Johnson Weintraub, a very familiar face. The Golden Diamond Source, of course, sponsors the show. You are one of the young owners. You know, I look at you and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm looking at your mom, Julie, right?
Yeah.
And Chelsea Heavenridge, her lifelong, they were friends even before they were born because your moms were having you. All right, so today's a very special day for me too. Because today is my birthday.
Today's your birthday!
Oh my gosh! So this is
no idea.
So this is
It's April Fool's.
April Fool's. No, this is actually. So everybody said, are you going to take the day off for your birthday? What are you going to do for your birthday? Da, da, da. My favorite thing is the show. So you guys were hand chosen today because it's a gift to me to have you both on the show.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice.
I love surprising people.
Oh my gosh, well thank you so much.
Oh,
What an honor.
Yes.
Oh my
You know what? It's so
goodness.
funny. When I was younger, I would not like being born in April Fool's, right?
Yeah.
Because but now I actually kind of like it. But Chelsea, you're right. It would have been a great April
It
Fool's.
would have been. Yeah. You're thinking, we're like, should we do something? But then we didn't want to do it. Yeah, really, no, maybe we should.
Well, I wanted to share that live on the air, but again,
yeah,
thank you
that's
so much because you are filling my heart with love, and I really appreciate it. You know, you being here.
Yes.
So another thing that it's very serious, but it might make people laugh just a little bit. I mean, because we're looking at the serious tone of it, of course. But your beautiful graphic before the show with the two of you all decked out, you know, oh my gosh, like Dating in America episode 4. I'm like, look at those two lovelies. So, that picture was taken where? And share the story, girl. Share the story.
So it's so funny we didn't do this on purpose, but that photo was taken at our company party, which was supposed to be my wedding day.
Okay, repeat that, please. Company party, but was supposed to be
My wedding day.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, so we already had the venue. I actually canceled the wedding 4 months before we were supposed to get married. So we couldn't do anything. Luckily, we have the Golden Diamond Source, and we need to have a company
Let's make
party.
a party out of it, you know, because we still wanted her to feel special on that day. So it was still about Emily and making her feel special that day as well.
Absolutely, and I want to talk about that. And before we do, let's delve into that. With Chelsea, you are dating somebody, and you're in a serious relationship,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, for 3.5 years.
Wonderful. And you're 24. 24,
yep.
And Emily, you're 21.
Yes.
So we're going to get to your dating life. But speaking of that, was so considerate what you just said right now, as a true friend, that you wanted to make her feel special and okay.
Yes, yeah.
Because Emily, how were you feeling?
Honestly, very relieved. You know, I ended my engagement for a reason, and I've been very happy since then. So it was just almost like a day of like, I felt like kind of fully free that day. Like I was like, you know what, this is behind me now. I can move on. Because up until that day, you're kind of thinking, oh, I'd be counting down my days to my wedding.
Yeah.
Like I had a calendar at my house, like counting down the days, all this stuff. But she was such a huge support system. Oh my gosh. We had so much fun. It's so important to have good people in your life and good friends. And Chelsea's such a genuinely good person.
I know what it's like,
unbelievable.
you know, going through a breakup. It's hard. So I just wanted to be there for her as much as I possibly could.
Well, you know, when we talk about love and we explore the show, talking about love, there's so many aspects of love. And it truly is, as you mentioned, the love of a good friend and who can get you through, you know, such difficult times.
Yeah.
I commend you, though. 4 months before the wedding, how did you just knew it wasn't the right situation?
Yeah, I knew. I have a very strong relationship with God, and I just did a lot of praying. Really dived deep into that, and just wanted to figure out, you know, I don't want to get divorced ever, just like everyone else. And I just saw that in my future. I saw it not really working out, and I didn't want to put him through that. I don't want to put myself through that. And I just wanted to be able to separate without things getting so complicated with marriage.
So Emily, let me ask you this. How long had you been dating him prior to that?
So we were together a year and a half when he proposed. Our year-and-a-half anniversary is when he proposed. And then I ended up ending it about like 6 months after that.
And how do you think he's doing?
I hope he's doing well. I genuinely like pray for him almost every single day and his family. I don't have any communication with him, but I can only really hope for the best for him. You know?
And you know, it's hard because when you look at relationships, right? You're with that person every day. You talk to them every single day, and that is so part of it. Then all of a sudden, there is no communication. And I think a lot of times people will stay together because it's easier to stay together. You know, they're afraid to lose that communication. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, and I give her the glory for leaving, because a lot of people won't leave. They'll stay, especially if you're married or you're engaged. They'll stay in the relationship. So I give her all the glory. I'm so proud of her for being able to leave, because it is a lifetime commitment, you know, so.
Absolutely. You know, this show is, I always say, it's unedited, unscripted. And so some of these questions, and I hope, you know, it's okay to ask the questions. But
Yeah.
You talked about not wanting to get divorced. Is it because of what you had got? Because I know all your parents, though, have a beautiful relationship. And everybody works at the store.
Yeah.
Everybody works at the Golden Diamond. It's so awesome.
It's one big family.
It's so awesome. But seeing that, was that part of it, that you wanted to, seeing your own parents go through it, that you wanted to not go through that?
No, because I was just really blessed that my parents all get along very well. But I just don't think anyone really wants to be divorced. And really, it was because, you know, my ex and I had plans for us to have a child quite soon after we got married. And so it was just kind of like, I just wanted to avoid all of that. You know, I was not the time.
It was kind of rushed in a sense,
It was very
think.
rushed.
Like, he rushed it when she probably didn't want it to be that rush, you know. It was a year and a half of dating.
Right.
And they're
and you're
young.
so young.
And they're young, started talking about kids, you know, so.
Yeah.
And so that may have raised a red flag as well for you, that it was so rushed. So I want to point out that Chelsea also is with the Golden Diamond Source, but with Hands Across the Bay.
Yes.
So before we go into your love life too a little bit, tell us about Hands Across the Bay. Talk about spreading love and kindness.
Yeah, so we have a random act of kindness program where we go out and spread all the love, all the kindness, which we talked about how much we love love. So I love going out and spreading all the love. Emily actually is going out and speaking now on love and self-love and boundaries as well. But we do help families in crisis to no fault of their own and help stabilize them and give them a hand up.
That's wonderful. And, you know, we talk again about, like, how mature you guys are to, I mean, again, 24 and 21, and making these decisions and this commitment to the community. We're going to get back to your decisions and the decisions you made. But, Chelsea, tell us a little bit about your love life. And how did you meet your guy?
Okay, so I've been in a relationship for 3.5 years with Taylor. His name's Taylor. And we met at a fishing tournament. So my family goes to fishing tournaments all the time. That's what we do. And he's friends with my brother. My whole family knew him already, and his family. So
Did you know him at all?
No, because I was in college. So when I came back from college at a fishing tournament, my mom actually was like, "Ooh, who's that?" And I was like, "Who is that?" And yeah, we hit it off. And he was like my brother's friends with my brother, and we just have very similar lives and very similar lifestyles. So I think that's why it works.
So when you started dating, though, did you start dating immediately? Was it like an immediate connection?
We were kind of both still on the ends with our exes. Yeah. So we got lucky because it wasn't like we had a date after that. We were both kind of on the outs with our exes.
Okay, but let's talk about that. When you say that you were on the outs with your exes, was it so you see Tyler, you said Tyler,
Taylor.
right? Taylor,
Yeah.
Taylor, I'm sorry, Taylor, you said Taylor. Did it make it easier to be on the out with your ex, or were you already out with the ex? Come on, it's unedited and scripted.
Oh yeah, no, she was already on the outs with him.
It was long distance. It was from college. I was already back in my hometown.
Yeah, that's difficult.
We were still talking, but it wasn't really a relationship anymore, no.
So
And he was kind of experiencing the same thing. So
then you and yeah, that is hard. Like, you know, it's life-changing.
Yeah.
So he was your college boyfriend.
yes,
your
I had
ex.
another serious relationship before in college that was about 2 years. But he lived in Boca and I lived in Tampa, so it was just, it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. And I didn't see eye to eye with him. I knew he wasn't the one, but it was kind of what I needed in my life at that point, so.
No, that's interesting you bring that up, too.
Yeah.
That sometimes even if you don't know, or if you know, rather, that they are not the one, sometimes it does depend on where you are in your life. But it takes a very big person to admit that.
Yeah.
Again, guys, maturity at their age.
Yeah.
So going back to Taylor.
Yes.
So you both are working it out with your exes. And then how long did that take? And when did you guys start dating? And then was it pretty immediate?
Well, so my family moved to the beach, and we just had some people over after the tournaments and everything, and we dated probably a month after. It was love at first sight. I swear, it was. And I knew, like, we just had so much similarities, our lifestyles, our morals, our values, everything, like, our families already knew each other. It was kind of like it was meant to be.
You know, my flagship show is On the Record. I mean, that's where I started, and these are the sub-series.
Yeah.
So, On the Record, cute little Chelsea, are you saying that, so this is the guy that you're hoping to get a ring from the Golden Diamond Source?
Yes, I do hope so. One day. We're not rushing, though. I think there's a lot of pressure for people to, you know, get engaged after about 2 years, or like this pressure to get engaged. And now that we passed that 2-year mark, I feel like, okay, people aren't asking me all the time anymore, you know, because I do want to date. I want to be young. I want to have fun in my 20s. You know, I do want to travel. Like, getting engaged, having kids is a lot of pressure, I think, that we're given in our 20s. So I'm good with dating right now. I really am, yeah.
I want to explore that aspect of it after the break. But before we head to the break, we've got to ask the friend, right? So, Em, what do you think of Taylor?
Oh, I adore him, and I adore him and Chelsea together. He's such a great guy. He works so incredibly hard. He's very handsome. They're like perfect together. He has blonde hair and very fit, and she's like very fit and little. It's so cute. They're adorable together, so I'm very happy. And they live together, and they have like an adorable. They're just so cute. And she's very good at like setting boundaries, and she's a great example for me to like look at if when I do have a relationship again in the future, as someone as an example, and see kind of how they communicate and work through things.
Wonderful. And you know, your friends always see, right?
Yes.
Like, they can see it, because you all already talked about it. And what are you talking about, girl? Of course, she said if, no, when.
Yes.
Right. There's absolutely no if. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back after this.
And no win. Oh my gosh.
Thinking about getting engaged, planning to upgrade your wedding ring, or finally getting that Rolex?
The Golden Diamond Source can help you in many ways.
You can start a layaway plan for only 10% down and 6 monthly payments.
Take advantage of our 3 to 5 year interest-free financing.
Or you can trade in your old broken jewelry and use it towards a new purchase.
Come to the Golden Diamond Source and find that perfect gift for the ones that you love.
Emily is an affordable gold and diamond jewelry line. It really hits any price point between $150 to $1,000. Anyone can afford it, anyone can wear it. You can stack it just like these bracelets. But it is a really beautiful line, and it's just nice because it's just a good starter piece. You know, you don't want jewelry that's going to turn your skin green. You're going to want jewelry that can have value and last you a lifetime, and that's what Emily has to offer.
Guys, we're having so much fun on this episode of Dating in America. I'm here with Chelsea Heaven-Ridge and Emily Johnson Weintraub. Yes, maybe Emily looks just a little bit like a woman that we all know named Julie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, your mom with a golden diamond source. Yes. And, you know, honestly, we talked about it earlier. I'll say it again. You know, it is my birthday today, but this is my favorite show, and your family sponsors it. So I really, really appreciate it. But that's not why I wanted them on the show. They're adorable. How cute are they? So we're talking about, okay, so Chelsea's 24, Emily's 21, and it was so interesting before the break. So you feel that there are a lot of pressures that you guys are feeling, especially in the 20s and when you're dating?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely. I mean, I feel like the number one question I ask is, who are you dating? But to be like, how am I doing in business? Ask me about my career.
She always says, ask me about my career, not who I'm dating.
Yeah.
Really?
I love working, and that's like my passion. And you know, relationships are great, but I found myself being really distracted from my passion in my relationship, and I almost kind of lost myself because of that. And I never want to get lost in a relationship ever again. And so there's a lot of societal pressures, and that's why I was, you know, I got married, we're going to have kids right away, because that's kind of like the way people did it. And especially, you know, like how my parents and other, you know, that kind of generation did it. But I think people now are waiting longer, you know, to get engaged, just like Chelsea is. And I think that's a very smart move. You want to make sure the person you're with is who, you know, you want to spend the rest of your life with. Yeah.
You know, and we can't take it lightly.
Absolutely. So Emily, just to expand on what you were just saying, when you said people would always ask you, you know, who are you dating? When you say people, who are the people? Customers at the store, or random people out, or who was it? Was it just everybody you met?
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of people ask me that. So it's just a good like conversation starter. I feel like people use is, so who are you dating? Who are you seeing?
And then if you're dating, it's, when are you guys getting engaged?
Right.
You know, it's always that question.
And
So-
believe me, then when you get married, trust me, the question is, when are you going to have a baby?
Yes.
And then you have the first baby, and they're like, when are you going to have the second baby?
Like move at our own pace, you know?
Yeah. And the pressures are crazy, but I'm happy I'm past the point. I'm just saying, we're happy dating, you know? It's good to date. We're young. We're having fun.
And so you guys have lived together. How long have you lived together?
I think we've lived together like over a year now, yeah. It was hard at first.
Isn't it
Getting used to each
It can be
other
an adjustment,
and-
right?
Yeah, definitely. But now I think we're good, and we love it. Yeah, it's awesome. It's like your best friend that you get to live with, you know,
Right.
every day.
No, I think you put that so well, because if you are with your best friend, then how could it not work out? Because then you can communicate
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
But how did your parents take it? And I ask you that because Julie said when you first moved in with your fiance, she went on the record and said, you know, that was a little bit of an adjustment as a parent. How did your parents?
They were fine. Yeah, my parents are just very supportive of any decisions I make. So they just were perfectly fine with me moving in with my boyfriend. Yeah, it just wasn't even. I told you, I grew up in a big family, so I feel like it's hard for them to keep track of all the kids. They just are. They trust me, and they trust like what I choose.
And you know, you're the middle of 5 kids.
Yeah.
And you know, when I ask that question, of course they trust you, right? So I
Yeah.
didn't mean to ask it in that way. I just think, don't you think it's more interesting though, with your mom on the show too? Because of course I'm more your mom's generation.
Yeah.
I think parents too are becoming more accustomed to their daughters and their sons living with people. Would you guys agree with that? Like your friends, like in this generation,
Yeah.
would you say more and more people your age are living together?
Are living together.
Yes, I think a lot of people
But
are.
in tradition, it's more after you get married, I guess. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot more people are living together when they're dating, which I think is a good thing, because then you can kind of see how it's like to live with them. Because what if you got married and then you move in and, you know, they're messy and they do all these things and you don't like that, you know, and you're already committed.
Right.
So it's actually, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know what you're committing to beforehand.
Right. And Emily, you saw that, right? Because the two of you have moved in together.
Yes, yeah, we moved in before we were engaged, but we always talked about getting married and things like that, so we always kind of knew it was going down that path. It ended up being actually pretty smooth when him and I moved in together, at least that's what I thought. But yeah, so it was, I don't know, I think I'd probably move in with my ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know, I think it just depends on your relationship and things like that.
I think it's a good thing.
You know, it just takes, you know, time to see if it's really worth it and not rushing it into
What do
moving
you
in.
think?
Right. Thank you for asking me that, Chelsea. You know what? Okay, so no, it's interesting. You know, so because I am from that generation of more like, okay, you move in after you get married. But no, I do see it now. I see it more like if my daughter came to me. I mean, she's only 14. So but if she came to me, you know, and I think it's definitely more the norm. I think it's definitely more the norm. And I do think, though, when people do move in together, typically the plan is we are going to get married.
Yeah.
You know, if it doesn't work out, it
Yeah.
doesn't work
Yeah.
out. And
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, that took a lot of bravery, especially 4 months prior. No, I'm so proud of you and so much strength.
Thank you.
So speaking of that strength, let's talk about, because you guys are in their 20s, are in your 20s.
Yeah.
So for your generation, is there a lot of pressure to have a significant other?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, I feel like I was in my last relationship because I felt like being in a relationship gave me more of a worth. Like I felt like if I was in a relationship, I didn't seem of value.
Really?
Which is so crazy. And that's why I wanted to be in a relationship. So that's why when the opportunity presented itself and we went on a date, I was like, okay, great. Like this guy seems awesome. I'll date him. And I think that's how a lot of people feel now, and why there's so many dating apps and things like that, because everyone's just trying to find connection. And a lot of people are searching for love through other people and not through themselves. And that's what leads to a lot of toxic love.
Wow. Okay. Talk about that. Yeah. I can you believe she's only 21? Talk about that a little bit more. So you feel, do you feel that the dating apps then, guys, are not that good of a thing? Do you think it's better to meet people organically? I mean, I know a lot of people that have met over the dating apps as well.
Yeah, we were just talking about this. I think organically, just because that's how I met my boyfriend now. But I see a lot of people that have met during dating apps, and they're perfectly happy. And so I don't know. It's a hard question. It really is.
I love doing the show, as you guys know, and but I'm also so in love with love. I've set up 8 couples that are getting married. Well, the 8th couple is getting married, and I think I've set up more.
You've
actually.
Set up?
Yes, I have set up.
Oh wow!
I have set up 7 couples that are married, and the 8th couple is getting married. And I truly feel there's even more. I know, because when I love it.
We gotta have a bachelorette here season.
I love it. So I have thought about this question a lot. Now, in my perfect world, I feel, organic is always, like a friend of a friend, and you know that person.
Yeah.
But I've had several people, too, that have met on a dating app. In fact, one of my favorite couples right now, Mark and Lisa, I'm allowed to say it, they met on Bumble, you know, and they're really in love with each other.
Yeah.
You know?
We see that at our store.
Yeah,
I mean, I actually went on a dating app called Bumble, and because I saw all these very great guys coming and buying engagement rings, I'm like, you're on Bumble? Like, I didn't know, because I always thought Bumble. I always thought kind of dating apps were like hookup apps, and it's not something I do. I'm very like, if I'm in a relationship with you, I'm serious. And when I saw these guys, okay, they're obviously serious. They're getting engaged. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll try it, because yes, it is a when I'll date, not if. I definitely will date again with you with someone. But I tried it out, and it was good until I almost went on a date with someone who was possibly a murderer.
Oh my God! What? Wait. You just throw that out on the show? Possibly a murderer?
I know, she
messaged me.
Only that could happen to me. Like, what is going on?
Oh, you know Julie. She was like,
oh my God. I deleted the app. I was like,
Okay, wait, how did we know that it was possibly a murderer?
you have to always background check who you're going to date.
Background check.
This is why it's so important.
We say
background check everyone.
Yeah, we say that through our nonprofit too.
Oh my
People that get
gosh.
in, domestic violence relationships. We're like, did you look him up?
Right.
Because they usually have prior things,
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you look this guy up, so you're interested in him, you look him up, and you find that he has a criminal record.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I had this couple on here. They weren't a couple, they were a male friend and an older friend, and they were more like our age, my age, right? So she said, take a burner, have a burner phone when you're in a dating app. So that's what she found, and she didn't want to give out her personal cell phone number, that she got a burner phone, and she said the same thing, the background check.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's so important to do so. So I'm off them, but I do see people, getting engaged. A lot of 8 out of 10 people I sell engagement rings to met online. I feel like a lot of people aren't really going outside of their comfort zones or going outside of their house, and that's why so many people are on them now. Especially with COVID and everything. I mean, it's kind of over now, but a lot of people weren't going out into society, so they couldn't really meet people at tournaments and things like that.
Yeah.
Gosh, honestly, you guys are so inspirational, and at such a young age, future leaders of America, future leaders of America. So speaking of that, as we are getting towards closer to the end of the show, you guys both talked about business and living your life. So, let's start with you first. When people said, you're like, hello, I have a career. In fact, you have a beautiful jewelry line, and since our last show, did we inspire you a little bit to start your own show?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, you did.
Really?
Yes, you did.
Oh,
you know,
gosh.
because I listen to podcasts all the time, and so I'm blessed enough to be vice president of Hands Across the Bay. And my way of giving back is by teaching women and men how to have self-love and set boundaries. And I think a forum like this is so great because I go to schools and speak, but you will often, lose and they'll forget the things that I told them. And it's a good way for them to go back and refresh and just to reach more people, because I just want to help people and prevent, things from happening to them. And if you have self-love and you know how to set boundaries, you won't get into a abusive relationship with someone else or even with yourself.
Gosh.
She is amazing.
And so are you.
So are you.
Yes, but you have a lot of knowledge on self-love, and it is important to have self-love and going into a relationship, not looking for love out of the relationship, being dependent on somebody else for your happiness.
Because the more you love yourself, the more someone is going to love you as well. And I always tell my daughter, there's a difference between being cocky and being confident. And confidence is self-love.
Yeah.
So Chelsea, let me ask you that.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so 3.5 years. I know you guys are in no rush.
Yeah.
When do you anticipate, though? When, in your perfect world, when do you think you would like to get married?
If I'm doing the math, no. I'm gonna have kids here, marry,
No, but it's true because women do deal with the biological clock as well.
So
that men don't have that pressure.
I want to be married by 30. So I'm almost 25, so within that time. I'm going to be married by 30. I want to have kids by 30.
You want to have kids
soon, okay?
Hey.
Yeah.
She's like soon.
Probably soon, within the next year or two.
Well, when you do get engaged, of course, please let us know, because we would like to share that on the record.
Oh,
and on the record, I would like to say I would love to be invited to the wedding.
Yes, of course.
Guys, so as we wrap up the show, you've given so much wonderful advice about self-love and loving yourself. Is there anything else that you would like to say about dating in your 20s?
I would just say take time to learn yourself and once you learn yourself, you'll know your boundaries, and then learn how to enforce those boundaries. Because a lot of times people get into relationships and they won't have that self-love, and they'll give so much of themselves to someone else just to feel that love, and you slowly drain yourself, and then that person you're also putting on a pedestal. So you want to make sure that you are giving yourself love and giving yourself happiness so that you can actually be in a healthy relationship. I think that's so important.
So wise for your years.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
I would just say build a friendship. I think having a friendship is so important too. Like me and my boyfriend, we can do everything and anything together. I can tell him anything. It's we're so silly together. I think having that friendship, because those are your soulmates in life, I feel like Emily's my soulmate as a friend, because we can just be ourselves, and you should be able to be yourself. You shouldn't have to put on for your boyfriend or significant other ever.
You guys have taught me so much today. Thank you for being such a gift. Yeah. And what a special show. My adopted parents are also here. I wish we could show them off, but we're learning that Mark and Louise Steinether are also here, and you guys are here, so it's been so great. I would like to tell the audience, if you would like to recommend a couple for the show, or someone you want to recommend on Dating in America, please reach out to us. You can reach out to the email right there. Any type of story, we love sharing them. We have multiple media platforms, and we're also on Roku. So, thank you again, guys. You have filled me with love, and we hope we have filled other people with love.
Yes.
The start of the month. Have a great April.
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, so amazing. Everybody.
The first-time diamond buyers should feel comfortable coming here because our selection at the Golden Diamond Source is as large as you can imagine. So they don't have to worry about going to a store and feeling pressured about buying something. We educate them and they can make the right choice based on what's important to them.